Can everybody hear me in the back? Okay. Before we get started, I do want to apologize for my voice. I am on the tail end of a cold. It is not COVID, I promise. And I will try to get through this as best as possible. So welcome everyone to the third annual Phoenix National Animal Rights Day. We have an amazing event in store for you today, and I want to thank you all for being here for the animals. We also understand that it's very hot, so if you feel the need to step out, please do. You can just make your way to your left and rejoin whenever you feel better. My name is Andrea Diaz, and I am honored to be your host for today. I have been fortunate enough to participate in actions all over the globe, co-organize a Meet the Victims factory farm lockdown in Barcelona, and recently received my master's degree in animal law. I am currently a local community organizer who focuses on direct action, campaigning, and now will be shifting into legislation. I was raised on a farm in South Phoenix, and I spent the last 5 years of my life fighting for the same animals I watched my family exploit and kill. Some of my earliest memories are of pigs hanging from metal hooks, chickens having their heads chopped off, and cows being hit on the head with sledgehammers and then shot. Like most of you, I was led to believe that there was no other way to survive. I remember the feeling I would get when a killing would take place every single weekend. I felt deep down in my soul that this wasn't right, but I didn't know how to articulate this as a child. I remember thinking how scared my animal friends on that farm must have been to see the same person who normally cared for them suddenly approach them with a weapon. The pain was insurmountable, but absolutely pales in comparison to what they must have felt in that moment. These animals were my friends. I felt safe with them. With them, I was free. Free from the severe bullying I received daily at school. Free from the adult problems I was witnessing. Free to be myself with no fear of judgment. Just free. What a magical gift these individuals had given and continue to give me now. It wasn't until I was 27 years old that I finally understood another world is possible. That these individuals not only deserved the same freedom that I desperately craved, but I knew I'd have to fight for their freedom. And I knew it was the absolute least thing that I as an individual could do for them. As we speak, there are activists all over the world participating in this exact same ceremony. We come from different backgrounds, speak different languages, and may have different views. But we have something so strong that connects us all: our love and respect for animals. But it's even more than that. It's a feeling that's hard to describe. When you see or hear of animals being harmed, it hurts you. It's a pain so intense that sometimes it takes over your entire being, and it can even incapacitate you. You all have the ability to understand just a fraction of what they're experiencing, and as painful as that is, this is something that we share, and it's very important to remember this connection we have with each other and to the animals. It is also very important that we understand exactly what these animals feel every single moment of the day. It is important that we educate ourselves on the truth so we can better help them. It is absolutely important that we honor them and fight for them every day that we can, because they have no one else but us. Animals do not get a break from their suffering. They are trapped. They don't get to press pause while we go on with our lives. They are being harmed, always. And I do not say this to make you feel guilty for living your lives. I say this so you understand their reality, so that you establish a proper sense of urgency for our friends, so that you understand why we all push so hard for activism, because everything that we do is for them. Everything. There is a war going on, and it's a war that every nation on this planet is participating in. Animals are being wiped to extinction at our hands. And as people who have made that connection, we have to do our part fighting for them. Animals are one of the few mistreated groups that cannot advocate for themselves. Because we get to go home and go on about our lives while they still hurt. And today I ask that we break that cycle. Imagine what we could accomplish if we dedicated just a few more hours a month to their liberation. Imagine how many industries we would see fall if every person who called themselves vegan stood up and took action. We could be part of a revolution that these individuals desperately need and deserve. I kindly ask you all to take a look at the individual in your hand. Really look at them. Look into their eyes. Feel what they felt the moment that this photo was taken. And I know it hurts. I know it hurts so bad. But I want you to harness this pain and turn it into transformative power. Turn it into motivation to make sure that this ends with us. You can be the generation that ends the use and killing of every sentient being on this planet. You can be the generation to say no to exploitation in every shape or form. You absolutely can. Although today is National Animal Rights Day, please remember them every other day of the year. Please vow to do what you can, when you can, and remember that they have no one else but you. Together we can create another world where animals are free from harm and only know a life of love and compassion. Together we can mobilize, and through direct action, we can change the dark course of the world. Together we can ensure that every animal is as spoiled as our friends who live here with Michelle. Before we move on to our other incredible speakers, I want to talk to you about a dear friend named Blitz the goat. Blitz was just a few weeks old when he was found by investigators. He was all alone, no mother in sight, and he had a severe respiratory infection. He was so desperate for food and comfort that he instantly started suckling on the fingers of the activists. He was doomed for a life of exploitation and an early violent death. But all of that changed when two normal people decided to take action rather than just observing. He was rescued, received immediate medical care, and sent far away to a place where no one will ever hurt him. He's not only alive, but he's very happy and free. Now his name was given to him because there was a storm happening that night when he was rescued. There was no rain, no wind, just continuous bolts of lightning illuminating the desert sky. Blitz actually means lightning in German, and his story always brings me so much hope and joy. It reminds me that no matter how dark and scary the world may be, you have the power to be the light to them. You have the ability to bring awareness to the truths that these industries hide. You have the power to change lives. So today we remember all of the animals that have died at the hands of humans over the past year. On this day once a year, we stop everything else and give them our full attention. Humans treat them as if they're separate, inferior, unimportant objects, and this has to stop. This day is about raising awareness and helping people realize that animals are just like us. They play, they smile, they feel joy, fear, cry, and feel pain just like you do. We are all the same, we just look different. I'm now going to read a poem called Wait for Me by Richard Deboo. Wait for me. The ground upon which I walk hurts my feet. The air that I breathe hurts my throat. And the things that I see hurt my eyes. But do not despair for me. Only wait for me. when the boot is thrust upon me. Do not dismiss me, but reach for me across the dark of the night and wait for me. When the fist strikes me and the punch cracks my back, do not turn away, but look back and see me, and see the bruise rise and the tears in my eyes, but do not despair for me, only wait for me. When I cry for my mother, do not mock me or laugh at me, but you know me as a youth, as a child in distress who wants only a mother's caress. Understand me and wait for me. Do not forget me, but wait for me. When the bolt to stun me is held against me, do not forget me, but stand with me and comfort me. When the blade is raised against me, do not forsake me, but cry for me. Do not turn from me, but stand by me, beyond the gates that confine me, and wait for me. Far from the fields I can never know, and from the sun I can never show my face, for I am locked inside this metal space. When you run your hand through the grass, just one thing I ask, spare one thought for me, and wait for me. When I am drawn on a chain to the machine that in a scream will cut me and rip me and kill me and spill me, believe in me and feel for me. And by the grave that is never mine, hold a moment for me in your mind. And even still, I ask if you will, only wait for me. I will walk where my father, my mother, my sister, my brother all walked before me. Where so many walked before me. Through the gates of hell, I will be prodded and pushed, and step by step, I will stand where so many have stood. Heads bowed, but I will be proud. And even though in fear when I stand before my killer, when I close my eyes with my dying cries, and I breathe a sigh for one last time, remember this crime, and remember me, and even yet, wait for me. Wait for me, and one day, you will see me and hold me, and I will be free, and I will stand, and I will be free. Thank you all so much for being here for the animals and remembering those who have passed and helping fight for their freedom. We are in this together. Just a reminder to everyone, please do not clap anytime during the service. And I will now introduce our first speaker. Celeste Yamada is a local Direct Action Everywhere organizer and investigator, co-founder of the Animal Liberation Temple, and veterinary student. And she is just a powerhouse, not only in this community, but around the world. She is an inspiration to many of us. And I'd like to welcome Celeste Yamada.